450 miles to the doldrums. To the Chinese casino, we roll the dice. Bugazzi. You know, it'd be nice to have a 50-mile lead going in instead of a 28-mile distance at the AXO, but it's fine. It's not going to make any real difference. It's more important about where we're positioned on the fleet going in here, where we think is the right place to be. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody puts their bow right up or their bow down to try and change where they're positioned in the fleet. But I suspect that Matthew will just sail along next to Dongfeng like they're going to do for the rest of the race. And all the rest of them will just follow the Fugazi, follow the Yellow Brick Road on the Fugazi trip.
Relentless, like the same every day, very wet, very tiring, very tough conditions. But hopefully in 1 or 2 days we'll be on the doldrums and we'll be quiet. We'll get to dry the clothes, dry ourselves, because we haven't been dry for, I don't know, 1 week. Yeah.
I was trying to keep it quiet, but I hadn't been across the equator yet, so Whitty cottoned on to that one when I started talking about all the cloud activity the other day. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous as to what's going to happen when King Neptune comes to town.
Kim Neptune might be on board, but it's not me. Think about who the most perverted, twisted individual on the boat is, who goes about his work quietly. That might give you an idea.
Take a bit more outrigger down, Nipper. Are you going to put Love McDonald's? Love McDonald's style. I think this is constant now. Hold the mate. I'm going to get a straight one out.
Do I hold it like this or do I read the screen?
What would you rather win? The Volvo Ocean Race or a Nobel Prize?
Obviously the Volvo Ocean.
Yeah.
That's what we're competing in.
We're not intelligent enough to win a Nobel Prize either. All good enough.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I say the Volvo Ocean Race. Volvo Ocean Race. I agree.
What is the key ingredient to chewing gum?
Gum? Rubber?
Plastic. Plastic and everything, isn't it? Yeah.
Is that the main ingredient?
Yeah.
What? Plastic?
So we are chewing up plastic every time.
And
That's
then
nice.
people throw it in on the street. If you could trade lives with one person for a day, who would you be and why?
Oh my god, this is hard.
Kate Middleton. Yeah, she looks like she's a great type.
Probably an astronaut. That's pretty cool. How about you? I'd probably trade places with a National Geographic photographer.
Probably like Kelly Slater, just so you can just like surf really good. That'd be cool.
I'll be Usain Bolt on the day 100 meter goal, I reckon. Break the world record.
What is the weirdest scar you have and how did you get it?
I got a whole top of my finger missing.
Yeah.
That's a good scar.
Yeah.
I got that scar on my finger.
Oh,
I'd like to say it was some sort of hardcore sailing incident, but it was a drunken incident.
I got one on my arm that I ran into a big glass sliding door when I was like 8 years old, and the whole thing's shattered around me. It's not a weird scar, but it's pretty hectic.
I have a blade with 7 screws. It was not fun.
Fell down a hatch. Oh yeah? Crushed my arm.
If you got stuck on a desert island with another Volvo Ocean Race boat, which one would it be?
Probably with Macfrey, because Sophie's hilarious.
Is that really what you're thinking in your heart, Annalise? Is there not another boat you would rather be stuck with?
No, I can't think of any others.
You're going very red, Annalise.
No.
I think maybe with Macfrey we could speak a bit of Spanish.
I'd say Scallywag. I think they'd be a bit of a laugh. Although they probably drank all the rum first.
I'd say Axonoble because 2 of their crew members have done that before. And I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, let's go with experience. I'll go with
Let's go
that.
with experience. You can't beat experience.
How was your week, mate?
Really, really long. It feels like a really long week. What do you get up to Tuesday?
Tuesday, are we even Nico?
Oh, you're leaving Hong Kong.
He shouldn't bring his private collection of lipsticks on board. That's kind of
I don't know what he got up to in Hong Kong, but he should have left that behind him.
How we go?
It's yellow.
Yeah, I know. I just found that out. Thanks for telling me. No shit. He just told me I got the ice off on my lip.
That is good.
Nothing wrong with it, mate. You're looking good.
Thanks.
Remember Wednesday?
Yeah, that was holiday all the time.
Yeah, back to work.
Whoa, what a day.
It's kind of like a working man's Monday.
You could call it that, yeah. Let's call it that.
Bad thing about doing that is that
How do you like the snacks on Friday?
Oh, the marshmallows. I found them a little bit over temperature, but they tasted pretty good. I still ate the whole pack.
That was gross.
Yeah, I was sick for about 6-8 hours afterwards, but it was good.
This is what happens when you let teenagers provision the food. You like some?
Demo?
Saturday.
Yeah, that was when Simon almost worked overtime, but he got off watch just in time before the clock hit 5.
Yeah. Very punctual, that guy.
He is
When
punctual.
his watch is over, it's over.
Never stays a second longer than he has to in the wheel. Did you have any issues with the toilet on Sunday?
Toilet? No, no toilet issues.
Any issue with the biodegradable bags on the toilet?
Biodegradable packaging? No.
I can't find my boat hook. Have you seen my boat hook?
Monday.
Do you know how Jules always smiles on the inside?
I think we know how to make him smile on the outside.
That's what I'm laughing about. You and that made me smile on the outside.
Tomorrow. We try again tomorrow.
You were a bit upset Tuesday.
A little bit upset. Tuesday was sunny.
What happened? Was it a sunny gate?
It was sunny gate.
You want to talk about it?
We already talked about it. Someone stole my sunnies.
Do you want to We can talk about it if you want to, you know, ease off your emotions. I'm here for you. I'm fine now.
What number are you?
I'm number 6 this side.
I'm number 5 on that side.
Yeah, and there's a pair of sunnies.
Yeah, and they've been there since before we went to China.
They're the ones you've been running.
No.
I've seen you.
No, these are the ones that have been running.
No, those are my ones.
These are not your ones.
What he saw after the race in China.
Yeah, see?
Why would I?
Just in here.
How's your Wednesday? Not as good as Justin's.
He was really on top of the world, wasn't he?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the food or seeing me on deck or what it was. I don't know.
You definitely do have some singing lessons, I think.
Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Bop. Bop, bop.
Welcome to Race Control in Alicante for the Volvo Ocean Race. It's an unbelievably tricky moment here for leg 6. A little bit of a shake-up of the leaderboard as well. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Plus, we're going to be hearing from Dongfeng Race Team, Turn the Tide on Plastic, and having a look at this, well, incredibly light and tricky moment lying in wait for the teams just ahead with Conrad Coleman. But before we do that, let's have a look at where the track is right now and catch up on the race course. Well, you can see that on the way to Auckland, we are just north of the equator and the slowdown has happened. The big move has been Turn the Tide on Plastic to the east. They've gained, along with Team Brunel as well. But Team AkzoNobel back in the lead and with style. The Dutch boat keeps pushing ahead while Dongfeng Race Team is locked with the overall leaders, Mafre, in a very fierce battle. And we caught up with Kevin Escoffier on board Dongfeng Race Team to hear just how close that race was.
Well, it has been very, very close. Sometimes it was even one boat length in between us. We were playing with the waves of the boats in order to try to overpass each other. We've seen that we were a bit faster with the G0 sail, and as soon as we peeled to G1, they were a bit faster. So we've got each boat has his own advantages, and it has been a big fight. Maybe too much, maybe to fight together made us done the wrong choices regarding the navigation, because when you're very, very close like that, you don't want to be slower than the boat that is close to you, and maybe that's why we've been a bit too much in the west together. But we'll see that later. But very close. We were able to see the driver on each boat who was changing the change of watch. I think that Pascal had a few conversations on VHF with them, no? I'm looking at Pascal to ask at the same time. T'as parlé à Mafre, toi, à la VHF, no? C'est Charles? One time, yeah, he spoke one time with Juan at the VHF. So, but not so much, not so much. We know them quite well. Few of us I've been sailing with them. I've done around the world record with Juan Villa on a multi-hull. So
we're watching on the images Carolyn Brown, I think Jack Boutel working pretty hard on the pumps. Can you describe what's going on deck?
Jeremy Bayou is at the helm. We've got Caroline Brower trimming the G0. Jack Boutel trimming the main, and Pascal just went out to help. He's on watch as well, so he just went out to help them trimming the boat. There was plenty to play with for the main, runner, outhaul, Cunningham, check stay, ballast, and same thing for the front with the tack and everything. And we use all the settings we've got to get as much speed as possible from these boats.
On the last position report that you guys received, were you happy with where you are? You've stayed close to your closest rivals on the overall scoreboard, but it's not great in terms of the fleet right now.
Not very happy. I think we would rather prefer to be where Turn the Tide is. The spot where they are, it's the place where they may choose. They may have the best or the best choices to do whatever they want compared to us, I think. Anyway, we cannot be there. We cannot switch. We cannot. So we have to do with what we've got. and there is still plenty to do. It seems that what we are sailing in right now, it looks like doldrums, so it's very early to be in it. There is still another kind of doldrums later, so plenty to do. We can catch up. Boats in front of us will slow down as well. So there is this leg will be very long. There is still 12 days to play with, and there is still a long way to go. So maybe we'll be maybe in a few days it will be all of the boats that would like to be at the place of Dongfang. I hope.
Kevin Escoffier feeling confident, but as he says, a lot of race still in this. So let's go to Conrad Coleman here. Conrad, Kevin was saying there, Dongfang Race Team, they prefer to be where Turn the Tide on Plastic is right now. Is that the boat that's going to get the best of it?
No. That's the short answer. The longer answer is let's have a look. So let's play this forward. That's the last couple of hours, and we're going to see just a little comparison here. So keep your eyes on the blue boat out here. And you've got Dongfang Race Team, Mapfre stuck in behind. They are all suffering so much. And let's have a look at why. This is the satellite image that tells the whole story. Out on the right-hand side, you've got Turn the Tide on Plastic. That's where Kevin on Dongfang Race Team wants to be. However, if I was a sailor out there, I'd want to be here. That's Team AkzoNobel. And the reason for that is because right now, the whole fleet is kind of in the funnel of death. You know, you can see that the northeasterlies are sort of funneling around the fleet at the moment. That's why we're seeing all of these dramatic images of the boats sitting there going nowhere. But the promised land is just underneath them. That is the new band of westerlies just to the south of the fleet. But the thing that they need to navigate around at the moment is this cloud here. So keep your eye on this. I'm going to scroll forward a little bit through time. So this was at 0800 this morning, and then moving ahead, you can see it's getting slightly smaller. The deep red colors that we saw previously right here are now yellow. This means that this cloud is crushing and becoming less and less of a feature. You can now see that it is completely sort of broken up. And just to the right, we've got the fleet again. Now, this is Team AkzoNobel. And the fact that that cloud has crushed, has broken up, allows the westerlies to come into play. Now, just before I said that, I looked over my shoulder, I looked at the live information that we have on all of the boats, and they have westerlies, as predicted, at 10 knots. Over on the other side of it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. It is sort of easterlies oscillating to northerlies, 2.5 knots. And so even as that new wind shifts over potentially from this side and they get a smoother transition, the boats out to the east are going to be really suffering, because the best case scenario that they have for the next few hours is sailing downwind in VNG in less than 5 knots, and that's going to suck.
Well, that's certainly going to be pretty hard, and well, let's hear from the sailors themselves. We actually linked up just before we came on air with Turn the Tide on Plastic, and at that point they were doing pretty well, and I asked Francesca Klapčić how they were feeling after a pretty good last position report.
The last sched was quite good for us. Mapfre and Dongfang are behind us, so it's a different situation from the one that we have one day ago. So it's quite nice. Now we don't have so much wind, so it's a bit painful, but we are still trying to move forward and keep the boat go fast. And probably we are the one closer to the routing to Auckland, so it's I hope it's a good position for us, and we will see in the next hours. I think it'll be a key days in front of us with really a lot of clouds and the doldrums, so it will not so easy, but at the same time it's a lot of opportunities, and we try to take all the opportunities for us and to move forward. It's hard because it's a lot of work on board. Every cloud or every squall can bring a different wind, so maybe one time you need to jibe, or another time you need to tack, or change sails or change the trimming every time. So it's a continuous working for everybody. It starts to be quite warm down below, so every time you do the stack down below, it's not so easy, and it's really warm, and it's quite bad. It's better to stay on deck and watch, but it's part of the game, and until the boat is keep moving, it's still okay. So I just hope to don't stop in some cloud and stuck there for hours. But this is also part of the game. In the last leg, we had a lot of days where we were basically stuck in no wind, and I think it was one of the hardest moments of the race. You know, like people talk about the Southern Ocean, how hard is it, but I think also the really light wind and the clouds and the squalls are hardest as the Southern Ocean, or even hardest.
Coming from the Olympics with some success, how are you finding now jumping on a Volvo Ocean boat?
It's a completely different experience. My background is, it was all about Olympic classes, and in the last basically 10 years I just sail with a dream to go to the Olympics and get a medal. Unfortunately, I didn't get a medal, but at the same time, so I was working every day for one target. And after Rio, I had this great and amazing opportunity to have the chance to try to get to the Volvo Ocean race, and I think it's, I don't know, one of the best race that you can do. At the beginning I was a bit scared, but now I really enjoy to be offshore, and I really enjoy the teamwork. It's big parts of a great team. It's also a different experience for me. I was used to sail alone or maximum with another person on board, and now we are 10 on board, but the guys are so good and so nice, so it's really a great experience overall, not just the sailing part but also the personal part. So it's I think it will be an amazing year.
Francesca Klapčić on a strong team ethos on board Turn the Tide on Plastic, but we wanted a little bit of an overview, somebody that was going to tell it like it is. And so we spoke to the onboard reporter on board Turn the Tide on Plastic, James Blake, and asked him how the crew are dealing with, well, the ups and downs of racing in the Volvo Ocean race.
One thing with this team is their morale is generally pretty high. So even though through the skeds we've seen over the last kind of 2 days or so, it's gone from last to up in the top 3. It hasn't been a big change because it is generally high. There's obviously there's a lot of motivation within the team.
You've got Brian Thompson on board as sort of dedicated navigator, but also Nico Lundven, who did the navigation the previous legs. How's that sort of partnership working?
Yeah, I was kind of intrigued to see how it would work, but it seems to be working very well. They're kind of running it in shifts and overlapping a lot, talking a lot, and so that there's always there's pretty much 99% of the time, I'd say 100%, there's a dedicated navigator sat in that chair, which I think is working, and with both of their experiences is fantastic to bring to the team.
Have you got those young sailors? Are they faring up well to the hardships of the Volvo Ocean race?
Yeah, I think especially with this team as well, how it's been run and how it's led, is it's really giving these young guys a good chance to get really stuck in and involved, and there's obviously some tough moments for them, but I think morale is generally high and there's a lot of humour on board, so they all seem to be faring very well. It's just quite interesting with where we're at the moment and how the position has been changing. I think what I was saying before with the morale is that actually hasn't been a huge change, and that is something that is really interesting within the team. It is a young team. You know, they're all out to do as well as they can, but it's something that's kind of, to the leaders, I guess it's quite a big thing, is that morale doesn't change. It's pretty cool to see.
Steady morale then for Turn the Tide on Plastic, and it looks like all the boats are going to need it over the next few days as we start to see the teams really battling in the light breeze. We know that the boats are going to get near the equator pretty soon. They are going to solve the question that we posed to you about a week ago as to what team on which day and at which time in UTC was going to be the first one to cross the equator. We don't know yet, but we will monitor it. And when we have an answer, we will find out who our winner is for the Garmin Verb 360. You can join us tomorrow. There's no quick fix in the morning, but we will be back with another daily show at 1300 UTC. See you then.